So you want to take the Interceptor off-road. Let me share a few ways in which you can make it reasonably off-road capable without compromising its on-road manners. If you have an Interceptor, I think you're having a good time. Good time on the highways, good time cruising. However, there is a chance that maybe there is one aspect of the Interceptor that you would like to improve. That is off-roading. Sometimes you do end up doing some off-roading, and the bike, the way it is set up stock, may not be the best. So you have come to the right place. Let me share with you what all we can do to the Interceptor to make it a little more off-road worthy. Now, there are 5 things we need to go off-roading. 5 things that need to work for us to go off-roading. Number 1, we need a good suspension. Number 2, we need tires that can handle the terrain. Number 3, we need the right posture. The seating position, the handlebar, the foot pegs, they have to be in an optimum place. And number 4, weight. Lesser the weight, better the motorcycle is going to handle on dirt. And number 5, we need a little bit of power and punch at the bottom end and mid-range to get us out of a tricky situation, a slippery surface, or some kind of slush. So with these 5 things in mind, I got myself this motorcycle early last year. That was in Jan 2019. I had already prepared a list of what all the mods I wanted to do and had stuff ready, and as soon as I got the motorcycle, off it went into the garage to get changed. In fact, I never wore it in the stock condition. So let me take you to the bike and show you what all I did to it. Okay, the first modification, the suspension. What you see here is the stock inner tube and outer tube. The externals are the same from the Interceptor. What I have done, changed the insides. The spring and the plunger or the piston as it is called is from the Himalayan. So what it did was add about an inch of travel and increase the height of the motorcycle by about 1.5 inches. And in fact it got a bit too tall, so I had to drop the top plate a bit to get the balance right. So that's the first modification. Now once the front was done, I had to get the balance and match the rear. So I got myself a set of fully adjustable YSS. So these are adjustable even for height. They have a bolt at the bottom, and of course compression damping, rebound damping, spring rate. So pretty advanced and high-tech suspension. Well, I guess it costs a bit too much, but then it was all right. So I got this to match with the rear, and consequently I had to modify the center stand. The bike got taller, the road clearance got upped by a couple of inches probably. So I had to add an extra piece to the center stand so that the bike can stand on the center stand. When I raised the front suspension, there was a big gap obviously between the mudguard and the T-stem. So I decided to stick in a Himalayan beak mudguard to give it an off-road look and to cover up some of that empty space. Another area I had to pay attention to is the headlight bracket and the meter. Now this bracket normally comes somewhere here, and the meter bracket is mounted below the top plate. It's mounted somewhere here. So when I moved, I had to move this up, and unfortunately the lock set, the ignition lock set got in the way. So if you see, I had to chop the headlight off, the dome. See the rear, it ends here. So I had to chop it off so that I could move the headlight up. And then I moved the clamp from the bottom mounting, I moved it to the top. Now if you see, the clamp comes on top of the top plate, and because I had to chop the headlight dome off, I couldn't fit the stock halogen beam, so I had to go with an LED. So that's the suspension, the number 1 point. Now coming to the second point, the tires. I changed to Timson tires. The stock tires are very much a street oriented setup. So I changed to Timson, and if you notice, the front is a 19 now. I switched to an XL rim, 19, and installed a 90, 90, 19 in the front. At the rear, also I have a Timson, a dual purpose tire, and this is a 130, 80, 18. I think that's the stock size. So I maintain generally the same size at the rear. The front I went 1 inch up on the diameter. Now there's a funny thing you would have probably noticed. The rear rim is silver, front rim is black. Well, that I messed up. When I ordered the rim, I missed the fact that the Silver Spectre, this color of Interceptor, comes with aluminum colored rims. So I got the rim and then I couldn't do anything, so I got it and I just said, hey, let it be. Another thing I did was converted it to a tubeless setup. I have installed Autex, so both the front wheel and the rear wheel now are running tubeless. There are no tubes, and it's been on for, like I said, from Jan last year, and they're holding out pretty good. I've had a couple of nails I found the next morning after a ride in the rear tire. Fortunately, I have no idea when it happened, but thanks to the tubeless setup, I made it home without a flat, without having to worry about it during the ride. Then, the item number 3 on our list was the riding position, which is the handlebar, the hand position, and the foot position. Let me show you what I have done. I have replaced the stock bar with a Renthal aluminum bar. This is wider and it is a bit taller. So I didn't put in any risers. I got the handlebar. This height is more compared to the stock handlebar, and so is this width. It's a much wider bar. So this gives a more upright stance, and being wider, easily controllable in bad roads, dirt, off-road, which is what the whole purpose of this bar is. And I changed the foot pegs. The stock foot pegs are too small, more for a street ride. I installed the Himalayan foot pegs. Yes, it required a bit of filing, but managed to get it through, and absolutely perfect, works like a charm. So with the handlebar and this foot peg, we got the posture in place. Number 4 on our list is weight. Well, there is nothing much we can do about the weight of this motorcycle, but for one aspect which will give significant returns, and that is the exhaust. So I took away that 6.5 kg exhaust and put in this 2.5 kg S&S stainless steel slip-ons. So just with this change, the motorcycle is weighing about 6.5 to 7 kilos less. So that's the only reasonable thing we can do about the weight, and that's all I did. Besides, the exhaust has got an additional benefit of a lovely exhaust note and some performance. The 5th item on the list is performance. To bump up the performance, S&S exhaust, we already saw that. I have a BMC free flow air filter, and most importantly, a Powertronics ECU. Had that mapped specifically to match the filter and the exhaust and this particular motorcycle, and believe me, it's a massive change. The bike is much faster. Top end is better, mid-range, even the bottom end, and the roll-on acceleration is what is the most impressive. It will leave behind any stock Interceptor without having to try too hard. And I did drag it against a couple of Interceptors on different occasions, on different days, and it just left them behind. I mean, there's absolutely no competition. And one more test of performance is always top speed. I did push it up to 150 kilometers per hour, genuine I would say, because on the meter it was showing around 163, 164. So giving 10% for error, I think at least 150, and it was still accelerating before I ran out of several things that was required to go faster. Several things on the motorcycle and several things on me. So that's about it. And anyway, I didn't do all this for top speed. I did it more for acceleration and bottom and mid-range grunt, which it is got in loads now. So tell me, what do you think about the modifications I have done? Please post your comments in the comment section below, and I will answer to the best of my knowledge. The secondary mods, let me start with the seat. If you see, I have lopped off the seat here, made it a single seat. I don't carry any pillion riders anyway. So this is actually a RE touring seat, the Royal Enfield touring seat, because I found the stock one not so comfortable on long rides. And that's a complaint of a lot of riders. And the solution to this, believe me, is the Royal Enfield touring seat. I have seen people take the seat to a local seat garage, try to modify it, turn it into a sofa. Yeah, I've had literally people turn the seat into a sofa, living room sofa, thin rider area, and a big step on the rear. So I understand we are all trying to find a solution for a problem, but believe me guys, get yourself the Royal Enfield touring seat. A lot of design technology has gone into that seat, and it makes a massive difference. So just go with it. The next thing I've done is put in a little bit of a little rear rack. This I got it off Royal Enfield Trials motorcycle. I had to do a little bit of modification and welding to get it to fit on this, and it serves the purpose very well. It can carry some luggage, and it is not hanging too far back of the bike, so the weight distribution doesn't get affected even if I put in a big piece of luggage on here, because the further we go behind, every kilo will act like it is 3 kilos. The other mod I have done is install these luggage pods. These luggage pods are actually NH4 bags. They are NH4 crash guard bags. I have used them on the side and to carry some important stuff. Let me open and show you what I have inside of them. I also keep my waterproof glove. I have an umbrella, and I have a newspaper. Why this newspaper? This is a very good moisture absorbent. This is the best and cheap, or rather cheap and best moisture absorbent. And this is my rain gear. I got rain pants and a raincoat. So with this in place, I don't need to remember to carry my rain gear for the unexpected rain or think too much. It always stays on the bike. Whenever I need it, I can just pull it out and use it. Let me show you what I have. I just have a piece of cloth, an old banyan, which I can use. Have a pair of gloves. Now these are supposed to be heat resistant. So if I have to grab something hot, hard or crazy, I can use these. Then this is the puncture kit. So with all the necessary tools to fix that hole. And then a very important piece of kit. The MI air compressor. Probably the best thing available in the market to pump the tires. And one other small thing I've done is an exhaust shield. I just installed, let me show you what it is. This is not really an insulator, it is an aluminum, it is a conductor, however it provides some degree of heat protection. Now the reason I have not gone with an exhaust wrap is, I am not a fan of exhaust wrap. Exhaust wrap retains a lot of heat within the exhaust, and it increases the core temperature and completely discolors and even can disfigure the exhaust pipes. So I strongly recommend, do not use exhaust wrap. Please leave the exhaust open, because these areas are areas from where the exhaust radiates heat and lets go of a lot of heat. So this way the exhaust air coming out of the pipe here is much cooler. Once you put an exhaust wrap up front, this temperature goes up significantly and this entire body starts to increase in temperature, and we don't want that. So those are the general mods I have done, and one aesthetic modification I have done is the tank. You can see I have wrapped the tank in aluminum vinyl. This is an aluminum finish vinyl. Like I told you, this motorcycle is a Silver Spectre. So I got rid of the big monogram here, got it wrapped in vinyl, and then put this and this little sticker here just to give it a different look. So that's about what I have done to make this motorcycle fit and capable of doing some level of off-roading, and I'm happy with what I did. I cannot expect the Interceptor to become a Himalayan, no. However, this is a good balance between a tarmac performance and off-road performance. If you like what you've seen and heard, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. And if you also like to know what all I have been up to on the Muddy Hog with these modifications, click on the video links up here. Thanks for watching from the Muddy Hog and Bosky. Cheers.